This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. I think we've been waiting for the Cleveland Browns to play some real football ever since the end of last season. We kind of knew what it was at the end of last season, right? Deshaun only played 6 games. He got kind of horseshoed into an offense he didn't fit into. We knew that the future of the Cleveland Browns organization, the future of the Cleveland Browns coaching staffs and front office would all be dependent on how they handled the offseason and the changes that they made. And the Browns made every change that we wanted them to make. Go back and watch some of my old videos about the changes I want the Browns to make. They made them. Browns made the changes that everybody said that they needed to make. We're going to find out a lot about this team once they start playing real football. There's some stuff that we kind of feel good about because of camp in preseason, but there's a lot that we still don't know. So what this video is going to be about is talking about all the things that we hope to learn about this team or get a better grasp on. And these are things we'll have that better grasp on after week 1. So the first thing I want to point out here is this man-to-man defense thing. Playing more man, having this uptick in man, right? I think they're up to 29%. Their snaps are in man, which is like some of the highest in the NFL. Okay, cool. Now, I've always said on this channel when people were complaining about zone because Joe Woods was here, it's not the concept that's wrong. It's the execution that is wrong, right? Oftentimes, when we get mad at our football teams, we latch onto a concept and we blame that concept for every problem that the football team has, right? Last year and with the Joe Woods era, a lot of us were complaining about the zone, right? Oh, the zone's the reason they can't do this. They're playing off. That's why they suck on third down. When the truth is, there are teams that play man that can get off the field on third down, and there are teams that play a lot of zone that can get off the field on third down. It ain't about the concept. It's about the execution of the concept. Every concept has its flaws. Every concept has its holes. That's what football's about. There's a counteraction to every defense you can throw out there. There's no one defense that you can play in the NFL, in football, that's good for every play that the offense can throw at it. It just doesn't exist. If you run cover 3, the middle of the field might be open. If you run cover 2, you might get cornered. You might get hole shot. Hell, you might give up the middle of the field. You might cover hard flat, but then you're giving up intermediate. It's all about anticipating what you think the offense is going to do and calling the play that can stop what you anticipate the offense to do. There's no one defense that's going to save it. You can't just run man out there and think that's going to solve all your problems. You can't just run zone out there and think that that's going to solve all your problems. You have to know what pieces to counter what the offense is doing. So we get so caught up in these conversations online about man or zone that we forget that half the time it's not even about that, right? If the team's screening you a lot, you're going to play more cover 2. You're going to play more hard flat. You're going to want to play things where guys are going to have to hesitate in order to execute so you don't get caught on play fakes, so you don't get caught on screens and get sucked in and all that. You're going to do stuff that's going to be less aggressive to make sure that you don't get faked out. If a team is just beating you 2 spots, then you might play more man so you don't get beat to these spots. That's football. But the Browns are playing more man. And right now, it seems like a great idea. And it might end up being a great idea. I'm not anti-man defense. I'm not anti-zone defense. But the question with playing a lot of man-to-man is, are your corners good enough to hold up on the island? Are you able to get off the field consistently on 3rd and 7s? Because 3rd and short, 3rd and intermediate, super easy to beat when you're running a ton of man. 3rd and long, that can get broken with one screenplay if you play man during that. Now, you won't on 3rd and long again against distance situation changes what you're going to call out there. But those 3rd and shorts, those 3rd and mediums, we're going to find out, hey, if we have the pieces on this team to hold up in man, that shouldn't be a problem. If it is a problem, hey, man, we're going to have to figure some things out. We're not going to be able to just run straight man all the time. But that's going to be something that you got to worry about. Can your corners execute? I like Denzel Ward. He's not consistent. And I think we focus so much on his injury history that we don't focus enough on how inconsistent of a football player he's been his whole career. Some weeks he's great. Some weeks he's terrible. He's got to be consistent every week, because if he's not, there's going to be some ugly tape out there for him. Man-to-man defense. Was it the right move? We'll find out, because there's no bigger test for man-to-man coverage than going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Talk about four guys that could kill you in man. Their names are Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase. You run man on those guys, you might get killed if you're not good enough up front. Which brings me to my next point. Is this defensive line for real? Because the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line isn't great, but it's good enough that if you have real success versus them, you feel pretty good about your ability to have success versus most offensive lines. Right? Is this defensive line legit, or is it going to be, we see them for a couple plays and they disappear? We're going to see. We're going to find out. I think the Bengals are a fine team to find that out against. And I think you're going to have to, again, leave those corners out on the island against Jamar Chase. You're asking to get beat over top. I've seen plenty of corners, really good corners try. That's not the dude you leave on the island. That's just not. It can get dangerous out there with him. Respect is earned, and he's earned it. The next thing that we're going to learn about in week 1, how fast can his offense score? See, Kevin Stefanski's offenses can always score, but they can't always score fast is the issue, right? Kevin likes to move the ball safely, likes to run it, likes to throw some screens, likes to dump it off to the tight end, likes to get 5-7 yard chunks, likes to be safe. Or at least that's what we've seen when Baker Mayfield and Jacoby Brissett are the quarterbacks. Maybe with Deshaun Watson, you take more chances because that's what Deshaun does as a quarterback. Are they able to execute? It's going to be a real question they got to figure out. Another question I'm going to add on this, who's going to be the guy on 3rd down? When it's 3rd and 3, when it's 3rd and 5, and the Browns really just need to get it, or it's 4th and 3. Who's the guy? Who are the Browns looking at? Who are they drawing the play for? Who are we going to? Every team that's worth something has the guy. You look at all the elite teams in the AFC, they have it. You look at all the elite teams in the NFC, they have it. You don't believe me? Let me tell you. You look at NFC, Philly, they're looking at A.J. Brown. How can we get A.J. Brown the ball? Devonta Smith's cool. We need to get this ball to A.J. Brown on 3rd and short. You look at San Francisco, sometimes it's George Kittle. Most of the times it's how do we get the ball to Deebo Samuel? Let him make a play. You look at the AFC, Kansas City, it's Travis Kelce for Pat Mahomes. You look at Baltimore, they've not had that. They've not had playoff success. You look at Cincinnati, it's obviously Jamar Chase. You know they're looking for Jamar Chase when everything gets pinned down tough. Buffalo, Stephon Diggs. Who's going to be that person, that receiver for the Cleveland? Is it Amari Cooper? Is it Elijah Moore? I don't know. Amari Cooper's really good, but I don't know if Amari Cooper is draw him up a play. Nobody can stop it good. We're going to find out. We're going to find out, because that's the one big question this team has. When the chips are down, when it's 3rd and goal, when it's 4th and goal, and you need to throw a touchdown pass, who the hell is that dude that's going to get the ball? Now we're going to draw up a play and see who gets it. No. Who are we trying to get open? Who's that guy? Who do we trust the most that plays receiver for the Browns? We're going to find that out on Sunday, because I have no idea right now who that could be. And I don't think the Browns even know who that's going to be. That's a disadvantage that they're at heading into playing the Bengals on Sunday. Nick Chubb out the gun. Is this going to be a problem when the Browns play elite defensive tackles? I have no problem. I have no worry about Nick Chubb's ability to run against the gun, in the gun, my bad, not against the gun, in the gun against pedestrian defenses. He'll be fine. The question with him running out the gun is when you're playing Cam Hayward, when you're playing DJ Reader, when you're playing an elite Javon Hargraves, he's on the San Francisco 49ers, you play him. When you're playing Jeffrey Simmons. Browns have 4 elite defensive tackles, and I'm probably forgetting some very good ones in that count in like their first 6 games. That's going to be what hurts the Browns if they try to run out the gun, if they're not able to seal up these things, or if Nick Chubb's not able to get downhill fast enough to not get chased down by a defensive tackle trying to get out of his shotgun set. That's the thing. Nick Chubb versus pedestrian defensive lines, oh, he'll be fine. I don't care where you run. You could run Nick Chubb the ball out of Hail Mary. He'll be fine against pedestrian teams. But against the teams with those elite defensive tackles, that's where running out the gun gets a little dicey. We're going to find out what's the plan with him in week 1. Jed Wills going up against Trey Hendrickson. Ain't no joke. He's going to try to get back there. He's going to try to get pressure on Deshaun. We're going to see, man. Can Jed hold up? Can Jed adjust to Deshaun's style of play? Or will he get a lot of holding penalties? Will he get a lot of false starts? Will he be anxious? We'll see. Is this Elijah Moore stuff real? Is another question that will be answered on Sunday. We've seen a lot of razzle dazzle. We've seen a lot of interesting things. We've seen a lot of clips to get us excited about Elijah Moore. But it wouldn't be the first time that I've seen an NFL team, an NFL fan base get real excited in camp about a player who, when the chips came down to it and the games actually started, was pedestrian. Got like 45 yards. We're waiting for the breakout all season. Like, what's it going to be with Elijah Moore? Are we going to be talking about, man, once Elijah Moore gets it right all year? Or are we going to be talking about Elijah Moore, the breakout player? All signs in preseason and camp point to that. But I don't guarantee anything. We'll find out on Sunday. Communication in the secondary. Is this going to be a problem again? You will get tested. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are going to test your communication. Joe Burrow is going to test your communication. Are we able to play some zone? You're going to have to at some points in this game. Are we going to be able to do these things? Are we going to be able to play a complicated enough zone to be able to throw off Joe Burrow, right? We can't just be out here running base. So are we going to be able to do these things that we failed to do last year? Or the Browns failed to do last year? Communication in secondary. If it sucks, we gonna know what's going. Joe Burrow gonna eat. We know what that's gonna be. Scramble drill for the Browns offense. Another thing we'll learn about. It was terrible last year. Deshaun Watson would be scrambling, and it looked like nobody knew that the play was still alive. Will we have a better sense of how to play in the scramble drill with Deshaun? We've seen some highlights in the preseason with Amari Cooper. We've seen it look better in camp, but will it be there in the regular season? Scramble drill defense. Now, this is the one thing I'm the most concerned about, and we're going to find out. Because I'm not worried about Lamar Jackson running on you, because Lamar Jackson runs out of design sets. I'm worried about dudes like Joe Burrow who will just take out of the pocket and they might run, they might throw it downfield, and that's where you get in trouble with a lot of man defense. When the play breaks down, it becomes an issue. Joe Burrow is probably one of the best at stressing man defenses outside of Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is the absolute best. But outside of Pat Mahomes, he's probably the best at stress testing those man defenses because he can scramble, because he can stretch the field, because he can find people. It's going to be interesting to see. Will this be the right fit for the Cleveland Browns and the teams that they play? Those are the questions. Those are the things that I think week 1 is going to teach us. What do you think week 1 is going to teach us? Let me know in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day and have an even better night.